phase 2. We're going to start out with some question and answer. We've been generally just doing a little bit of talking. And we have participants here. We have a great day planned for you, so stay tuned for the agenda. But we have some comments, and one of the participants was saying,
well, it just amazed me because I always thought, I'm not a big coffee drinker. It wasn't hard eliminating coffee, but I do find that my energy is actually better without it. So.
It is better, isn't it? Once you get off of the coffee, it's like, wow.
It is. Yeah.
More sustaining.
Yeah. Yeah. And the no dairy, for the most part, that's pretty easy. I do enjoy cheese and crackers once in a while, with my husband, but I didn't find that, I didn't find it that hard to do.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Anything on your end? Or any noticing of the body, any changes?
Because I really didn't drink anything besides the water and the tea. And after you start to get used to, you're not reaching for something else, it's fairly easy to get used to, just the water or the tea. I don't think I had as many ups and downs. I think my feelings were more level throughout the week.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so any
I
questions?
did have a headache first couple of days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So both of you had some headaches?
No.
Just you had some headaches? Okay. What helped you to get over the headache?
I didn't really do anything. I just thought, well, I guess this is part of the program.
Well, one thing that helps with headaches is drinking more water to help flush the toxins out. We're going to hear from 2 other ways today that will help with the headaches and the detoxification process. And the other is to use some of your doTERRA essential oils.
Oh, okay.
One of the key things we're using for headaches is peppermint. Essential oil peppermint is really, really, really good. So you put some in your palm and you kind of twirl it around here in your palm, and then I put it up here, like right here around my temples, and under here on this little bony ridge in the back, which is called the occiput. And you just put it around there, and it really helps.
Oh.
And then really breathing it in, big breathing it in, and that will actually help with the headaches.
Okay.
So that's a really good source. And you want to use good quality essential oils. And if you don't have a good person that you're working with, let me know, and I can certainly help you out.
Okay.
All right, so any weight shifts, anything that happened there?
Yeah.
A little, went down a little? What's a little?
A couple pounds.
Yeah, me too.
A couple pounds?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, in a week, that's wonderful. How about you, Frank?
Well, I told you earlier that I didn't completely go on the whole cleanse diet, but I started a few weeks ago and changing my diet around. So I've actually lost some weight in the last 2.5, 3 weeks.
Oh, great.
Some of the changes that I did make, I tried this, I only drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning. And usually that's good enough for me, and I go through the day. I haven't drank any coffee in the last few days, and today I just felt like I was kind of dragging along. But I think it's because I had a weekend of skiing and everything too.
I'm exerting a lot of energy.
Yeah, but I was good. Like during the Super Bowl, I ate some snacks, sure, but I only drank like 3 beers, and that was it. It was like at a stadium where they cut you off, early.
Awesome.
I think I did it out of guilt too. I was like, I shouldn't be drinking this beer at all.
Gluten-free beer. How are we going to come out with that? At the Super Bowl yesterday, I went to the Super Bowl. They had a gluten-free trolley, a stand. They were selling gluten-free food.
Really?
That was great. Yeah, it was a long
Little
line.
kiosk?
Yeah, kiosk.
That's awesome.
A lot more people are discovering that they have problems with gluten diets, right? And that all these things that have been misdiagnosed for so long, they found out, oh, if I go gluten-free, it makes a big change, right?
Certainly. And that was some of the things that we covered last week, why that happened. So really good to point out that we're seeing more and more options out there. So we're going to jump into the program today. As I mentioned, we have 2 guest speakers today, fabulous, incredible women who are located right here in Loudoun County, or in Loudoun and Fairfax counties, I should say. And they're going to share their wisdom and impart some of the things that we can do to help with the detoxification process. As I mentioned last week, as you go through the cleanse, there are 4 different ways for your body to eliminate the detox, right? The toxins out of your body. One is through your breath, that's through your lungs. The other is through your skin. The other is through urine, and the other is through your bowels. So we're going to touch upon some key ways to help with the detoxification process today. And I'm also going to do a live demonstration and clarify, some people get a little bit confused between the difference between making smoothies and juicing. And I want to be able to talk through that and help you give a better understanding. So I actually have a demonstration. I'm going to demonstrate how to do some juicing, talk about the different types of juicers that you might want to purchase. And this is completely optional, it's your choice, okay? And I'm also going to make a really quick and easy smoothie and show you how that's done. And we are also going to, I'm also going to show you how to make a castor oil pack. So you can do that as another way to help with the detox process. Because in phase 2, we're going to take it we're going to turn it up a notch. We're going to look to eliminate some other things and perhaps offer up some other options like juicing if you're interested, or doing the lemonade cleanse. Again, it's optional, it's completely up to you, but it's another way to do that. And I want to be sure to give you all the tools necessary to help with the process. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit more about Epsom salt baths and using the heating pad or the hot water bottle as a part of that process. So today we've done our little check-in already. We're going to talk about the supportive services, tips for eating out. This is not deprivation. You still want to be able to live your life. Go to Super Bowl parties, enjoy life, and hopefully we're going to give you some tips that you can use during the cleanse and beyond the cleanse and help you thinking about things differently. We're going to review the phases. We're going to review a little deeper dive into phase 2 and help you make choices that fit for you. Food, fast, and blended options help deepen the cleanse that I've just mentioned a little while ago. And again, the demo between juicing and blending. So I'm going to hit the pause button here, and we're going to come back to the PowerPoint because we have a special guest speaker who's going to come on. And we're going to jump back to the tips for eating out and party season. Because it's always party season. There's always a reason for a party.
Yeah.
There's always a birthday. There's New Year's. There's Christmas. There's Hanukkah. There's always lots of things. And all these things are centered around food. And I love food. So this is around creating abundance in just a different way, in a different way of awareness in terms of what you can do to help feel like you're still part of the group and you might have better food choices. Remember, we talked about good, better, best. So, if you're thinking a little bit better, thinking about food differently from last week, that's a good step in the right direction. Now you might be thinking about the foods that are going to create toxins in your body and choices that you have as options. And thinking through what is really important. As we talked last week, we have the mind, the body, and the spirit, and we're looking at that integration between the three to help create balance and wellness within the body. And it takes going at it from all the different levels. It's getting your mindset, getting your preparation, all the things done, and then what do you do? How are you going to incorporate those into your body? And then what are the subtle practices that you might be doing on the side, like you're grateful practicing, or grateful meditation at night, or prayers, or whatever might support you in a spiritual connection that gets you connected to why it's really important to do the things that you do. Because without the why, it's really difficult to do anything. So we want optimal health. We want to look younger. We want to feel healthier. We want to look and feel great on the inside out. And all these things, all these practices kind of help to create that synergy so that way you can live an even more abundant life. And that's if you just take a couple of the nuggets that we shared last week and this week, you can see that, overall things are going to start to even feel better than they do. So without any further ado, I'm going to put the pause button on this. I'd like to introduce to you my dear friend, a colleague I met actually in 2008, so now it's going to be about 6 years ago. I was preparing, I'm doing a cleanse on my own, and I was preparing to get things lined up, and I just happened to meet this amazing woman at a Reston Chamber of Commerce meeting, and she so happened to have a service that was near and dear to me, which is colon hydrotherapy. Don't let that scare you. So basic colonics. And I instantly felt gravitated towards her because she's an amazing person with a big, ginormous heart and is incredibly talented in what she does. So I embarked on my journey with her and using her Angel of Water system. And she is gentle, articulate, incredibly brilliant and also incredibly beautiful on the inside as she is, as you can see on the out. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce my friend Caroline Alexander.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Pleasure to see you, as
Good
always.
to see you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here today. My name is Caroline Alexander. I'm a nationally board certified instructor for colon hydrotherapy. I served as an elected board member on the National Board for Colon Hydrotherapy. I've served over 40,000 at this point, clients with colon hydrotherapy for 20 years and have been an instructor in my profession for almost 14 years. So I think the greatest privilege for me is that new clients come in, maybe having a little bit of knowledge about colon hydrotherapy and sometimes really nothing at all. They've either been referred to me by a friend, sometimes by medical doctors, or something that they've heard on the internet. They may have even heard about a celebrity who's talking about it on the Leno show at night, and so then I get a phone call the next day and they're curious about it. Linda looks always red carpet ready, but a lot of ladies do it, the celebrities you might hear about them doing it because they're going to be on the red carpet, they're going to get into these skimpy little dresses, and they want to remove some gases and maybe some waste from their abdomen area so that they can be flat. That's only one reason and probably only the tip of the iceberg. For me, colon hydrotherapy is really about what you don't see. I don't treat diseases, I don't cure diseases. It's not within my legal scope of practice to ever get someone off of a prescription medication without the consultation of that client and their own doctor. However, clients get a positive health outcome from colon hydrotherapy, and I think that's because of three things. Number one, colon hydrotherapy is about hydration. I have my clients weigh before and after their colonic. Generally, a new client will weigh anywhere from a half a pound to 2 pounds more after their first session. It's because the colon's somewhat dehydrated. If you've ever burned cookies on a cookie sheet or lasagna in the pan, you've had to soak them in order to get them off. It's sort of that same principle with hydrotherapy. We're going to use temperature-controlled, purified water that very gently enters the colon. With our device, it's a Class 2 medical device registered with the FDA for endoscopic and radiological examination and or where medically indicated. I am located in Dr. Habib's office at Next Health. He's an internal medicine physician. Again, I don't treat diseases or cure diseases, but I do work with clients of all health and wellness levels depending on what they're looking for. The majority of my clients are health and well-being, and what they find is that through the hydration process, through the process of very gently dilating the colon, which is a smooth muscle, and then contracting throughout the session, it's like a yoga class for your colon. So it's about stimulating the bowel response and basically strengthening and tonifying the colon. I think we have a perception of colon hydrotherapy being hooked up to a hose and having this huge amount of water pushed into the colon, and that's a really scary thought. But I think when people think about their oral hygiene, it must have been really odd for people to brush their teeth for the first time. Where did the toothbrush come from? Originally, it was bone and animal hair. Now, to us today, that probably doesn't seem very hygienic, okay? So when we brush our teeth in the morning, we don't see the bacteria, but we taste it, we feel it, we smell it, we know it's there. We don't generally go over and kiss our significant other before we brush our teeth. So when you think about the other end of the digestive tract, when you think about food that you put in the refrigerator and you had good intentions of getting back to it and you don't, it starts to putrefy, decompose, and becomes odors or gases. You can see that food is actually decomposed, but what you don't see when you lift the Tupperware lid off is the odors. So when you're out at networking events and you might be speaking to someone and you smell the halitosis, what we're terming now as a label, or when you are when someone near and dear to you has flatulence, it doesn't smell so good for that reason, because we have 36 endotoxins that we produce in the putrefaction process of food. We're exposed to toxins in our environment, And today we have children coming into the planet with 200 to 250 chemicals in their body. And so detoxification is going to be really key for us, I think, as part of an integral part of our health going forward. However you choose to detox, there's certainly nutritional detoxification, there is supplemental detoxification, there are great saunas and things that you can use for detoxification. I feel that colon hydrotherapy really opens the bowel and allows the body to release what it's holding in the tissues and in your organs. Bill Moyers, an investigative reporter on PBS, has a documentary out that came out in 2001, and it's called Trade Secrets. It talks about the 180,000 chemicals that we're exposed to in our environment that the EPA doesn't even regulate. And what I find fascinating about this is that it starts this documentary out with a baby in the bathtub. It says, "No child today is born without synthetic chemicals in its body." Okay, so my first mentor in life was Jack LaLanne, the godfather of fitness. I used to lay on my mother's living room floor, watch him on black and white television. He said, if man made it, don't eat it. I don't believe that we have to be diseased, and I don't believe that we have to, I think we can age gracefully and beautifully and not be unhealthy. And I think that goes back to making an investment in your health bank. Every time we bend our elbow to our mouth, we're making an investment in our health, or we're making a withdrawal. And it doesn't mean that you can't have that occasional wine or that cookie or something that you want, but it's just knowing that there's a front and a back to everything. So with the colon hydrotherapy, I really feel that making that investment in time and money coming in to do colon hydrotherapy, it's really important to think about the foods that you're ingesting. And so that's one of the largest reasons that I've partnered with Linda, is because I don't always have the time that I would love to have to explain to my clients what they need to do nutritionally. If you're going to do colon hydrotherapy, it's really about moving out toxicity, but you also need to build your system at the same time. So I'm also a strong proponent of probiotic foods and beverages. Probiotics are nature's internal alchemists and healers. So probiotic foods have enzymes, good bacteria, friendly flora, and of course minerals that are very necessary for our body to heal. My sons are grown young men now, 18 and 21, and they've never been sick. And I really think that has to do with starting out with probiotics, just the brine, the juice when they were little, and then teaching them how to cleanse and how to eat foods that are nutritious to their body. So with colon hydrotherapy and the system that I use, we try to teach clients that it's about hydration, washing debris from the colon that you see and that you don't see. Again, when you open that Tupperware lid off, you don't see the odors, but you smell them. So it's really the same with the other end. And because we have so many toxins in our environment these days, and our eliminatory organs are somewhat congested, it's a little bit more difficult sometimes without the assistance of nutrition and things that are going to help promote cleansing through your natural processes. But there are times when a colon hydrotherapy session will allow for a greater release of and a direct elimination of toxicity from the body, kind of like an internal shower. So our procedure uses a disposable rectal nozzle. It's a little bit bigger in circumference than a pencil. It's going to penetrate the anal opening about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and it very gently instills the water into the colon, and then dilates the colon, stimulating your own natural peristaltic movement, so that when the nozzle's in, the anus opens and the waste and water moves out and around in a very sanitary condition. It's the Angel of Water is the fiberglass unit, and we use Cavicide and natural cleaners after that because we don't want you to have chemicals on your body. But it's very hygienic, and the waste and water is moved out into the sewer system. There's a mirror for your viewing pleasure, if you will. And sometimes when you see what's coming out of the body, you're a little bit more cognizant of what you're putting in the other end of the digestive tract. So overall, health is an integrated process. I know that Linda speaks about this a lot. You want to oxygenate the body, you want to have good sources of water, whole food nutrition, and that goes back to what my first mentor said: if man made it, don't eat it. That's what Jack LaLanne used to say. And to that, I would add probiotic foods and beverages. We need restorative rest because we can be doing all of these great things for ourselves, including colon cleansing, and we need to make sure that we're repairing at night. And then, of course, through doing those things, you increase your elimination, and that is the goal, is to increase the bowel response and to naturally detoxify. And colon hydrotherapy is a tool to that. And with the equipment that we have today, the most advanced technology, you maintain your personal privacy and dignity, and there's no opportunity even that you have any odors or embarrassment. Our clients actually position themselves onto the nozzle, they turn on the water, and they're in control. We're just there to assist you in the process. So if there are any other questions, I'd be happy to take those questions at this time, and then I'll be happy to turn back over to Linda.
Sorry, I missed out on.
No, that's okay.
I had to.
Probiotics, what are some good sources for probiotics?
Well, I really prefer food as medicine, so I like kefir. You can make kefir, you can purchase kefir at Whole Foods or at Mom's, health food stores. I like to make my own, which is generally what I do, and I use young coconuts. Donna Gates' program is the Body Ecology Diet. I've been a body ecologist for 12 years, I guess, or more. But probiotic foods are also vegetables that you culture and you add the friendly bacteria to. It's very much a wonderful process. Personally, when I'm making my own cultured vegetables and kefir and kombucha, I want to put my love and intention into the food that I'm making, because that love and intention then comes back to my own body. And that's also a healing process in and of itself, because it's a living food. It's a raw food, cultured vegetables, because there's no cooking in the process. You're actually pre-digesting them using a culture starter, which is the friendly microflora. So for me, that's the best way. There are certainly brands of probiotic supplements that a person can purchase and use. I don't discourage the use of probiotics. I would just caution people that sometimes your digestive oxidation isn't actually as good as it could be, where you're not actually getting the benefit from the probiotic supplements that you're ingesting. I have a friend who owns a porta potty business, and he says if you could just recycle all the supplements that are at the bottom. So again, I want to get back to food, because raw foods and food is medicine. Everything that we need, and we need to start with a good source, of course. I'm definitely a fan of organic fruits and vegetables. When you go to the grocery store, you might want to think about just checking the little labels that are on there. Just something as simple as starting with a 4 and 4 letters is conventionally grown. Starting with a 9 and 5 numbers is organic. So those are nice little things that you can look at to find the very best sources of food that you're going to ingest in your cleansing process. And that's important to colon hydrotherapy, because if you're coming to my office to make a time and money investment in colon hydrotherapy, you want to make sure that you're putting into your body something that's really going to help build and cleanse your body and complement the colon hydrotherapy or whatever other cleansing modalities that you're using. Did that answer your question as far as probiotics?
And maybe you addressed this while I was out, but
Sure.
a healthy amount in terms of times to do the colon hydrotherapy. Like
That would
how
really depend on the person. And I would also tell you that colon hydrotherapy can be quite intimidating. I think my greatest humbleness in this is that I meet a stranger who walks into my office the first time in a new environment to get half naked and put water in their colon. Unfortunately, I can't give you any evidence-based research as to how many colon hydrotherapy sessions a person should do. I try to base that on an individual basis, depending on that person's current health status and really what their goals are. I would recommend starting out with 2 to 4 sessions. I would recommend the first 2 sessions to be within 24 to 48 hours of each other. I prefer back-to-back, one today, one tomorrow. The first one generally hydrates the colon. The majority of my clients, as I mentioned, weigh anywhere from a half a pound to 2 pounds more. It's a temporary water weight gain. When those cookies are softened, they're going to come out. And so you're going to weigh less after that. So the hydration part, and interestingly enough, the second colonic, people usually see more waste debris moving out. And we're visual, so when you have your first colon hydrotherapy session, number 1, you're nervous. So when we're nervous, we automatically kind of tighten our anus just a little bit. And this is a new procedure, so I also refer to it as the training wheel session. You know how when you ride a bike, you have the training wheels, and then when you take them off, miraculously you never need them again. Once people get through that first session, then they're generally very relaxed, and the second session they're more hydrated, so they're going to see more waste moving out. It's just a very natural process of the water very gently being instilled and then dilating the colon, and then your colon is in charge. It releases the water at will with the system that I have. And for most people, starting out with 2 is good, because let's put it this way, your liver is your chemical processing plant. So not only is your colon involved in a colon hydrotherapy session, but your liver, your gallbladder, and your pancreas, and your kidneys. Because your kidneys are going to process the water. So many times, clients find, just like when you go to have a normal, bowel movement, you have that urge to urinate. So you might be urinating during the session, which is perfectly fine because you're on a $25,000 potty. It's just a different shape. Okay, I call it new potty training without the diaper. So you need children, people to relax. And when I say children, I've actually worked with children as young as 6 and adults as old as 98. So when I say all age and wellness levels, I've worked with all age and wellness levels. Some at the direction of a medical doctor, other from consultations from Donna Gates, who does the body ecology diet, which has a program called Bedrock Body Ecology Diet, Recovering Our Kids. So it's really imperative that people kind of do those first 2 to 4 sessions closer together, because you start really moving the toxicity. It's kind of like if you are walking in a pond and it's very clear, and then when you walk, the silt on the bottom kind of comes up. So it's a lot like that. When that first session is going to sort of release a lot of toxicity, it's best to do it kind of close. So I recommend that in the beginning, and then from there, it's kind of on an individual basis. Any other questions? Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline. That's great. Thank you. Always wonderful to see you. You too. All right. Okay, so great job. So we have our second guest speaker, and I am going to pull up his PowerPoint. Would you like me to put the PowerPoint?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I have it on this machine up here. So I'd like to introduce to you another amazing woman. You're going to see that these ladies are just unbelievable in big hearts. And Calvert is she's a very gifted person when it comes to using her hands. She's an esthetician and a massage therapist, and has recently branched out and started up a second business of hers, and it's called Hotspot Sauna, and it's located not too far from here. But she's going to speak to us about the benefits of using sauna and how this works well with the cleanse. And this is all part of the education of why you might want to do some certain things. You're not obligated to have her use any of the services. These things will actually help to enhance your overall success with the program if you choose to add them. So I would like to introduce Calvert Thomson.
I think I'll wait for the PowerPoint presentation again. So a little background about myself. I'm a master esthetician, skincare, massage therapist. I've been for 10 years. Lifelong passion for health and wellness and detoxing. That really took a turn. It intensified when I had some personal harrowing health circumstances that led me to the infrared saunas. So all of I'm also just a few hours shy of being a yoga teacher. So I mean, it's been my whole life of being drawn to these kinds of things. I'm a client, or have been, of Caroline's in the past for detoxing as well. So I'm familiar with really all things detoxing wellness, whether personally or otherwise. A little quicker. I'm not going to pay too much attention to this. It's for you, but if it triggers any questions, then that's good. So, let's see. So again, personal detox issues brought me to the infrared sauna. There's a great naturopath practice in Leesburg, and they have one antiquated small little sauna. There, I had a level of toxicity that basically I was told it would take 2 to 3 years for it to make its way out of my system if I just went to the bathroom on my own, changed my diet, did all of those things, reduced environmental influences. It would take me 2 to 3 years to get rid of this. Or I could get in the infrared sauna a few days a week, sweat for about 40 minutes, and we'd see about 6 months to a year. They were thinking that I my levels will be back down to normal. 3 months later, all of my levels were completely restored to normal, and they haven't gone back up since because I made those environmental changes and continued the detoxification lifestyle that you're learning about now. So, have you been in a sauna before? Infrared? No. You have been in infrared.
I was in yours yesterday.
Oh, were you? Cool. Well, there you go. So the difference between an infrared sauna and a regular sauna is that about 97% of the energy in a regular sauna goes to heating the air. And that's why your nose starts to burn and your eyes dry out. And after about 10 minutes, you're like, dear God, get me out of this thing. Infrared sauna uses part of the invisible light spectrum, which means that it's totally natural. When I say light, people always start to think of sunlight, but sunlight's made up of many different wavelengths in the invisible light spectrum. The ones that we know about that are harmful are part of the ultraviolet, which is they move so quickly that we can't see them. Infrared is at the very bottom. They move so slowly that we can't see them. We naturally produce infrared. When we get hot, when we exercise, we are producing infrared energy. So it's the most natural, innocuous form of heating and also detoxification in this way. It penetrates to about 3 inches into your body, which is right inside that fatty layer. That's where all of our toxins and all of that stuff that our livers and our kidneys can't process on their own, that's where your body sends it. And a lot of people in the health and wellness community, doctors as well, believe that our bodies actually produce fat to insulate ourselves from the toxins. So you may, if you have trouble losing weight, that's often considered a symptom of toxicity because your body is having to insulate itself from the extra toxins. I know Caroline touched on a lot of this, so I won't go into it, but I love this little poster. 515 chemicals a day just from personal care products alone. That doesn't include driving in your car where you went to the car wash and they cleaned your steering wheel and you're absorbing all those toxins all the time. That's just from the products that you decide to put on your body. So you can make a lot of healthy choices there and eliminate a ton of toxicity from your natural body. So, and then this is also just another list of ingredients. It's great. I have all of these studies if you're interested in them, but I kind of figure since infrared is new, we can just talk about what it is to experience it, how is it relevant to you. But if you're interested in the studies, we can go over it. Mayo Clinic, American College of Cardiology, NASA for decades has been using infrared therapy in space to condition the astronauts' cardiovascular systems when they're out on long spacewalks, because there's no resistance in space, so you can't get your heart pumping. They put them in the infrared sauna and they get the same cardiovascular exercise as you would running 2 or 3 miles. So not only that, you're burning the calories as well. You can burn up to 600 calories in 40 minutes. And buckets of sweat means buckets of toxins coming out of you. And you feel it immediately, am I right?
Mm.
Just a lightness about you. It's incredible. Again, just the differences between a steam and a far infrared sauna. This is fascinating. The 97% water, 3% detox from a regular sauna. Again, your body is working primarily to cool itself when you're in a regular sauna. And because it's the air that's warmed and not your internal core body temperature, that's where you're getting that only 3% toxin level in there. In an infrared, because of that depth of penetration, because it's going right to the storage of all of your toxins, you're actually sweating out 20% toxins when you look at the actual makeup of the stuff that's coming out of you, which makes it important to get in a shower sooner than later if detoxification is your primary focus. Again, American Medical Association, their endorsement of saunas for detoxification. I'd like to open to questions because I know you covered so much. I don't have to give the background education on toxins and things, so which is great. Questions from anyone in particular?
I'd like to know when you're coming to Loudon.
I was just thinking about that on the way here, actually. Where are you in?
I'm in Loudon. I live in Loudon.
Okay, in Ashburn, Leesburg?
I'm out in Percival.
Oh, okay.
But my office is here. I actually know your mom, Priscilla, through my BNI. I
That's
was
right.
the residential realtor there.
Oh, wonderful.
So, but, actually, I'm gonna be going Thursday,
Great.
because that's my day off, and I'll bring my husband, but it
Oh, great.
was really nice to do it on a Sunday afternoon, not like jumping out through a work day. I found it, you know, I kind of planned it that way. We did it at 2 o'clock yesterday, and Farrah was great.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, she was awesome, so.
Good.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just, yeah, we would support you in Loudon.
I've been thinking, I'm looking for a walking community, because
Yeah.
that storefront there in,
Like
we're in
one
downtown
around.
Herndon next to the Great Harvest Bread Company. So it's, you know, it's cute that we've got some visibility, but it's not, I think, what it could be if we were in a more vibrant
Mhm.
community with more people. But I get that all the time. We have people who come all the way from, the longest one is, well, we've got someone who comes in regularly from Alexandria, Mount Pleasant in DC, and these are people who have memberships who come. I always try to talk to people, much like Carolyn said, think of it like exercise. It's not something that you can just do once. You're not going to go to the gym and lift a bunch of weights and then start winning competitions for your bulging biceps. You have to go regularly because you're continually exposed to all of those chemicals and those toxins. So
Are you familiar with the far infrared body wraps?
yes, I'm not a fan, I have to say. And there are also far infrared portable units that you can lie in. I've seen, while the technology is roughly the same, it's just the method of delivery. I've noticed that a lot of people who get into the wraps and get into those portable saunas end up with rashes. And I think what it is that you're, again, depending on the way that the unit is designed and if there's a shower available, you know, the knowledge of the person who's walking you through it, you're sitting in those toxins. You're literally swimming in those toxins on your sweat. So, and then you walk out, you put your clothes back on, and then you've got all of the toxins sitting right on the surface of your skin. You're gonna get irritated. So I noticed for people who have eczema and psoriasis, it's not such a good thing. So, you know, I mean, you are still getting the raise in the internal body temperature, which means that your immune system is being stimulated. You're getting all of those kinds of benefits. The cardiovascular, getting all of those. But for detox, I'm not a huge fan, honestly.
Well, one thing I noticed was my sleep.
Isn't that incredible?
Oh my gosh.
It's so calming to the nervous system that everything quiets. So I've noticed with people, I always tend to be cold. So of course getting into an infrared sauna is like wonderful. You too. But I also have people who run hot, who when they get out of the sauna, they feel cool. And their blood pressure is regulated the way that it needs to be. So whichever way you go, it stimulates healing at all levels, whether it's blood pressure or cardiovascular health or well, there you go. So you can see.
How long is a session?
About 40 minutes. I always encourage people to, over the first maybe 5 or 7, work up to it, whatever's comfortable, take a few deep breaths. You might get to a point where you're like, okay, this is really, really hot. I say wait 5 minutes beyond that because you're probably about to break a sweat, and then you'll all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's kind of cool in here. I'm comfortable, even though I'm sweating buckets. But 20 minutes you can start and then just work up. But at the hot spot specifically, the sauna sessions are designed to be 40 minutes. The room is yours for that long.
Oh, believe me, I was sad when it was over.
Really?
Yeah.
And you did 40
really
minutes?
Good flights. It's really.
Yes.
Is that the first time you've done it?
Yes. Yeah.
And how much did you sweat the first time? That's actually brings up an interesting.
I sweat. I thought I sweat quite a bit.
It builds. It builds and builds, much like, actually, it's the same body system. So everything that Caroline said applies to this as well. You're walking in a clear stream, and you're mixing up the bottom. It's going to get cloudy. So, but your body it has been insulating itself for so long that it's going to take up to 6 sessions for some people, particularly Lyme disease sufferers. People who are just coming off of chemo. As the more toxic you are, the longer it's going to take you to build up to that sweat. But you will get to a point when probably 3 sessions where you'll have to be shaking your head and getting the sweat out of your eyes. I mean, just like your knuckles will be sweating. It's once you open that floodgate, your body's like, yes, get it out, get it
Kind of
out.
like hot yoga.
Yes, except you can read a book and listen to music and take a nap.
And-
But actually, this one that brings up a good point. I was doing down dogs in the sauna today. I was doing some ab work. Once you get used to it and your heart gets stronger, you'll find that you have more interest in doing things in the sauna. For probably the first couple of weeks, it's like you just want to
Yeah.
So how often do you do it? Like once a week? Is it once every 2 weeks? Is it once every 3 days?
How much would you exercise if you had your druthers and the motivation?
Well, depends on what kind of exercise.
Yeah, every day. I mean, you can do it that much. The more you do
You can't.
it.
So you can do it every day,
I
and
do
it
it
won't
every
hurt
day.
you.
Yeah, I do it every single day.
Huh,
You
okay.
do you have one in your home?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was actually great in opening the hotspot because I got to troubleshoot with that one instead of having to be at the office all the time. But yeah, you can do it every single day. We've got many clients who come in for programs like this who do. We have an unlimited month. I meant to bring in the materials. I didn't. We have an unlimited month option, which is 30 sessions in 30 days, and so you have that as well. So.
Is it better to start your day off doing this or end it up?
You know, it kind of depends. It gives you, and you can probably validate this. It's energizing, but at the same time, it's kind of a calm high, if you will. So I find that when I get in the sauna around 8 or 9 o'clock at night, like before I go to bed, or last appointment of the day, I don't feel like I need sleep. Kind of, So, but if you want to go right to sleep, then I would say probably not to do it right at the end of your day or last appointment of the day, because it is energizing, but at the same time, it's very, very calming to the nervous system and just your mind.
So maybe if you're like working out, say like swimming. I want to get back into swimming. I used to swim a lot.
Okay.
Say you're swimming in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Would it be better to do this like in the morning after swimming?
Yeah.
Or
It really wouldn't matter. I mean, I would say probably sooner after swimming because you're swimming in a pool that's full of chemicals to
right,
keep it
right.
clean. So I personally would want that to get out of me before it settles in and my body has a chance to, store it someplace. So yeah, I would say probably after swimming would be good. It does bring up a good point also in terms of timing with regard to exercise. For every sauna session, when your body temperature gets up, your internal core gets up to 100 degrees. For a stretching session, if you will, after that, you are going to retain an extra 1% of that muscle length. So after 20 sessions, and after 20 consistent sessions, after which you stretch or exercise, you'll be retaining 20% of that extra muscle length that you've been working toward. So it's great for after exercise or after bodybuilding, things like that. To stretch in the sauna, you're going to be getting a much more productive lengthening of that muscle tissue and tendons and all those things. So it's great for joints. Did you have a question?
I do. If you dry skin brush, would you recommend it to do it after or before?
I would say before.
Okay.
I would say before. I tend to think of that as being do it before because the dead skin that's settled on the skin does prevent both absorption and secretion. So if you can get that off beforehand, you'll have an even more productive sweat, and your skin will be super duper soft when you get out. So definitely before. And afterward, you'll be sweaty anyway, so the brush wouldn't quite work so well. Any other questions? That was really, really neat. Actually, when I read about this study, people who have jobs where they're constantly exposed to chemicals, they found that the EPA actually found that not only were they able to help these electrical workers bring their toxicity level back down to normal, but with continued sauna usage, even though they went back to work and began the exposure, their levels continued to drop. So it can overpower some pretty significant toxifying experiences that we have. Yeah, so special stuff.
Fabulous. You and Caroline had an offer that you offered to the cleansing participants. I didn't ask you beforehand. Are you still?
I'm happy to do it, and I don't remember what it was. Was it the unlimited week, or was it a mini?
A discount off of the first one to?
Oh, definitely. You know what I'll do? I would like to give each of you a free session to come and try it. I know that when you get in, you will love it because it's instant. So I'm happy to do that as well. But I think I'll open up the whole thing. Normally we have an unlimited week. It's called a 7 and 7. So once you start your first one, you've got 7 days to use 7 sessions if you want to, if you can. Typically it's $110, but we'll make it for this group $99. And we also have a mini series, and I don't remember what the price break is on that. But typically one session is $40. So, 7 sessions in 7 days for $99 is a pretty significant savings, so maybe
Yeah.
we'll do that to you.
Okay, I'll send that out to everyone, and Caroline also has an offering. You wanna?
I'm offering $55 off the first session. That's normally $150 to come in for the first consultation and colon hydrotherapy session. So it would be $95 instead of $150. I can give you my cards, and then she's going to send out that information.
Great. Nancy, there you go. Oh, I wish I'd have known about that deal yesterday.
All right, thank you so much for your generosity and all the knowledge and transfer you gave and
She
shared
almost
with
wants
us.
to stay and watch the rest.
Please join us, you're welcome to, because you're also gonna get to sample some of it as well. So you're welcome to stay, make yourself comfortable. We're gonna just jump right back into the presentation and see where we are. I just saw it. I'm a Mac user, so forgive me. All right, so quickly, we're gonna go through this fairly quickly. Tips for eating out, again, getting back to the mindset and thinking about what you're doing. Plan ahead. You're going out to dinner tomorrow night? Plan ahead. Where are you gonna go? Take a look at the menu and think about what you'd like to have. Rethink about, the butter and bread and butter. Butter's not necessarily the evil, but think about, are you gonna indulge in the bread and butter and fill up on that? Or are you gonna wait for your main meal? Think about the chips and salsa, we talked about this last week. So thinking about those kinds of things, avoiding the foods that we talked about last week, creating healthier choices in terms of, maybe I always go and have hot water and lemon. It's yummy, it's delicious, or maybe some herbal teas. If you'd like to have a glass of wine, I'm not saying you can't, but just think about it. And what are some of the best cooking methods when you're out there? Think about gently steaming, that keeps the nutrients in the produce. So you want to steam it or gently saute and use portion control. It's all common sense, but I think the biggest thing is to think before you go ahead. So we've gone through the phases. The first phase is preparation, getting ready. That lasts up to a week. The second phase is deepening. This is going into phase 2. This is where you're really looking to alkalize your body. Cancer and all other diseases cannot live in an alkaline environment. That's why we want to reduce the amount of toxins. We want to reduce the amount of things that are going to cause an acidic reaction in the body. So today we're going to show you how to make smoothies and green juices, because these are going to help to alkalize the body. And we're looking at deepening the cleanse 3 to 10 days, and then rebuilding. So phase 2, 3 to 10 days. You have a sample schedule in your binders. Basically, we're looking to eliminate all animal protein from the diet to give the body some time to settle down and give it a rest. We're going to look at no more than 2 tablespoons of flax oil or coconut oil daily. Only starch will be brown rice and quinoa with a maximum of 2 per day. And then you have 3 personal choices. And you can do this, you can continue on phase 1 if you like, that's quite all right, because you're going to see amazing results, even if you just stick to phase 1, or you're just going to get started on phase 1, because everyone is at a different level. So here at phase 3, you have personal choice to go deeper. Stay on the plan, eliminate with eliminations and reductions of the listed above. Blended options, which is a green energy soup, or other blended soups. You can do any kind of thing. You can take a salad and put it in a blender. What's nice about blending is it breaks down the cellular fibers, and it actually helps to digest. So it's easier to digest when you do something that's blended. You also have a choice of smoothies. Smoothies are going to be fruit with some vegetables in it. Or you have your option to do a juice fast, and we have a juice fasting option, which both Caroline and Calvert. We also have a juicing option. If you'd like to do the juice, we partnered as another, person, it's like a table, we have me, Caroline Calvert, and Amy, who owns this amazing business over in Bethesda and DC. She has a couple locations. It's called Puree Juice Bar. So we have an option if you wanted to do like a 3-day juicing fast. You can order the juices and have the juices prepared for you. I'm going to also show you how you can do it. So there's a couple different options to make it easy for yourself. If you choose to do that, the other option also is this lemonade fast we talked about, and it's where you take water, cayenne, maple syrup, and cayenne and lemon. All those ingredients, you drink that 3 to 10 days, amazing results. Again, it's going to be your choice whether you want to do that or not. So those are the 3 different ways that you can go deeper in this phase 2. And you want to also continue to do the self-care, some of the things that we talked about with Caroline and Calvert, and I'm going to go over some of the other things that you can be doing. So green leafy plants. This is like really super cool and important. What makes a green leaf green? What gives it the color? The sun, chlorophyll, right? So the sun gives so much nutrient to the green leafy plants, and you'll be amazed that most people don't eat a lot of greens. They'll eat their meat and potatoes. So I have a little chart over here on this board here for tips for juicing. Right over here I have the SAD, Standard American Diet. 10% of people eat fruits and vegetables, if that. 30% animal protein, and I'd almost think that that number is probably a little higher. 60% processed, 10% white potato. And I know it comes out to 110%, but I think that you'll see that if I took the 10% out from the fruits and vegetables, you'd have 100%, because there are not a lot of people who actually do a lot with fruits and vegetables. And we want to get those into our diet. And one way to do that is quick and easy, is getting it in through smoothies. So to juice or to blend, that is the question. So juicing is pretty amazing. I'm going to step over this way, Frank, if we want to come on over here. So we're going to talk a little bit about juicing and blending.